This week it's about being organized. So let's take a look at being organized. Okay, so we promised last week and the week before that on this third edition of Being Dollar Savvy, Claiming Your Worth, we're going to have someone on board to help us talk about being organized. And organization has a broad breadth. So I want to introduce to you Fyola Brathwaite Haynes, who is an accountant.
Hi, Terry.
Great. Really, really nice to have you here. And Fyola is a partner in CONEC Professional Services. And Fyola, tell us about your qualifications. You're an ACCA fully certified accountant.
I'm an ACCA fully certified accountant. I'm a fellow, in fact, so I have FCCA.
Many people are, they think, an accountant? No, that's complicating it. You're going to go to a level. No, I'm not in that. My business is a small business. Is that a justifiable position to have in terms of what accountants or the discipline of accounting is for business?
I think accountants force people to face questions or answer questions to themselves that they don't want to face. And some of them even get angry at me in the sense that, why you have to ask me that? It forces them to face reality, the reality of situations that they are not ready to face.
What kinds of realities are we talking about?
Well, it can vary as realities concerning their product or service, realities concerning their market, be it their customers, their suppliers, in terms of their costing, the structure, maybe in terms of distribution, maybe they're not doing what they need to do to get their product out there, and they're just not ready to do that work. Sometimes in terms of some businesses or sole trader businesses, the owner is taking more out of the business than reinvesting into the business. And no one wants someone to tell them, you're spending too much on yourself.
Spending too, but it's my money. It's my business.
That is normally the answer. It's my money, but no, you're running a business. And at the end of the day, even if it's a sole trader business, you have to know the difference in terms of reinvesting back into the business to make it profitable to the place where you can reap all the rewards that you want to reap.
Fyola, and you've hit the nail on the head, because we are dealing with the 5.8G generation. We are the group of people 50 to 80 years. We are going to 2050. Many of us are now facing what we call the third act of life, where for the first time, we can really do what we want on our terms. But after accumulating probably over 30, 40, sometimes 50 years of experience in the workplace, we have a lot of skills. We have a lot of ambitions. And as I talked about in my first session, what do we do? It's not necessarily what you did to work. And then last week, we talked about finding the customers. But it's so sad that people start off and what I call being organized. Now, I probably should have said being accountable. Mm-hmm. And that leads us into the accounting and the accountants. Mm-hmm. But I hold the view that it is not difficult. It is not a harassing thing, but it is so important if our businesses are to last the 30 years, 2050, are to provide streams of income for us, and better yet, if we are to build it for it to be strong enough to then bequeath to a son or a daughter and have an intergenerational business going on, we've got to be organized and set some ground structures in place. When you say structure for a sole trader business, what are the elements of structure that you would look for as an accountant?
Well, the fact that with a sole trader business, you're now investing into yourself. So you are the boss, you are the owner, you are directly affected by everything that you do. So you definitely, it's just like working for someone else in the sense that all the elements may fall into place, but you are the boss, you are the, what they call chief cook, bottle washer, because you do everything there.
Yeah.
So in terms of structure, you have to do your research of the business in terms of where's your product line or where's your service line. For sole traders, I always advise that you be the cost in the sense of you're not outsourcing a cost. Because surprisingly, there are a lot of sole trader businesses where you import the cost or you import the skill. So you would think a sole trader business lies strictly on you. But some sole trader businesses do import skill and pay for that skill.
For instance?
So someone might have a sole trader business that is registered as plumbing, just say plumbing, for example, but they have no plumbing skills. And they are paying a plumber to do the plumbing work. We're laughing that this happens. So
then they are the marketing agent for a plumber.
So they come up with a business. They know they want to have a business, but they don't have the skill or they don't create the product.
Okay, so just to have a business, so they're like an employment agency.
Right. So people do that. The other thing is knowing your product, knowing where your product lies, or knowing your service, and knowing the market for your service or your product. Pricing strategy of your product or service, where would you fall?
Because we chatted about market last week. A lot of people have a product and people are so afraid of pricing. And I often tell people, I tell people, pricing has nothing to do with cost. Make sure your price covers your cost, but pricing has nothing to do with cost. Price has to do with what the market will bear. But as an accountant, do you find people afraid to price?
Yes.
Why?
People place all their emphasis on price. All.
And give away all their profits while they're doing it.
And give away all their profits. Business-wise, profit-wise, they are not priced strategically. They say price is king. Mind you, the main problem that the customer is facing is a distribution problem.
Not a price problem, not a product problem.
Nothing to do with price, but price was their reason. Price was their excuse.
Okay. If I ask you a question, and I have a few that if you are organized, and I come back to being organized, and you touched on structure, you touched on knowing your business, knowing your production process, knowing all the cost elements. And if you know your market and who you're targeting, you'll have a sense of what price that customer will pay. You know your cost. And I love that point you made, that don't outsource the skills that you require. You be the business.
Yeah.
Don't go hiring a cake maker or hiring a baker if you want to make cakes. If you're a sole trader, then you have to be it. That's a different business model. If people have those documents in place, if people know those things, would you agree that it will be easier for them to claim their price and go confidently in the market and know which customer to walk away from?
So putting that structure in place affords you to now assess your business and therefore assess yourself in terms of what have you been doing to contribute to either the success or the failures of the business. And therefore, you are accounting to yourself, you are managing yourself. And by keeping track, you are therefore now taking ownership of what the business has done.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, you can always reassess after.
A business is an entity separate and apart. And one of the things that I keep saying is, one of the buckets that Connection 50 Plus focuses on is that your economic well-being, your not only the stock of money that you have, which you have to invest and take care of, but the flows of funds you can create through entrepreneurship. And this is a 30-year flow. So there's a level of seriousness you must apply. And you got to the point of registering a business. Many people think that registering a business makes them exposed. Exposed to whom? Taxpayer? I don't know who they're exposed to, but I love the point that you make, that it's your first step in being committed to it, like you're committed to children or you're committed to the job. You have something separate from yourself you have to take care. Why do people think registering is so hard, and is registering a business hard?
Registering a business is very easy, but you mentioned the reason that people don't like to register a business, which is taxes. We live in a society that runs from taxes. And that, I think, is besides, I guess, having to account for the funds for themselves, because sole traders like to operate as a tuck shop. Because they feel because they are the sole creator or sole worker of the business, that they don't need to account to themselves. Money is coming in. Once money is coming in, I'm okay. Once they're able to do what they want to do with the funds, they're okay.
Today, with no thought to tomorrow.
Tomorrow. A lot of people surprisingly only register a business for the name. So they want a certain name, they want a brand. So they register the business just for the name, to have a brand that they could promote.
And let me get to the tax issue. Business, how many SMEs, small and medium enterprises, actually pay tax?
Better than working for an employer, in the sense that if you're working for an employer, you have to pay PAYE, etc. When you're working as a sole trader, you have your expenses that you can claim under the business.
Or effectively, your tax rate is reduced.
It's reduced. And the fact that you're paying taxes means that your business is doing well.
The reality is that at the end of the day, the amount you pay back to the government or whoever is much smaller than you would have paid as an employee across the board. And also, Fyola, the fact that you have a business helps you to be recognized for so many other benefits. Why don't people realize this?
People go into business for different reasons. And some people aren't aware, and they won't make themselves aware. So that's where you invest. That's part of investing into your business, where you find out everything that affects the business. And a lot of people, unfortunately, don't do that, don't make themselves knowledgeable about what is available to them.
Yeah. When we at Connections 50 Plus talk about that life on the third act stage, which we're building the stage that we have to live on for 30 years. After the 30 years, then we'll retire, because after 80, that's when we retire. So you're building a stage and you're writing a script. And we are saying that you have to take care of your body. You would have left the second act with some bundle of money, be it a gratuity, be it your savings, be it a pension. But to really live fully, you need further funds. And it is my passion to help people to understand that when you speak about those future flows, that is an area of life that you have to pay attention to be serious about it, and to have it be part of your legacy. that you could pass on to your children and leave your children in a better state, children or whoever, in a better state than you probably started off at. You have to put some care, and that care requires organizing. And I think most people, they'd come to us and they'll say, all right, help me set up a business. And one of the first things I say is, I can help you conceptualize it. I can help you get it off the ground. I can help you plan it. But the one person that you need to get on board with you on, not on a full-time basis, but certainly on a part-time basis, is an accountant to keep you accountable.
Yes, it is.
But accountants have a role in every business because every business has a function called accounting. It's being accountable, being organized. What if you go into a business and you have to assess their level of organization or their awareness of what is going on? What are the kinds of things that you expect to see or you would help them to put in place?
Simple things as filing and keeping track of all your documents. But you would think that's the hardest thing in a business, to keep track of documents. Keeping your legal documents, your registration documents, keeping those organized. As I said, every single thing affects accounts. So every single thing you do, all you have to do is keep it properly documented. Some people think it's not important, and they don't realize that a simple document, what may seem frivolous to you, can be very, very, very important.
Like an invoice, like a statement, like a
All
receipt,
invoices, statements,
a
receipts,
bank statement, a check.
document, every single thing is important and needs to be kept, and they let the accountant or anyone determine how important it is.
But it is worth it. It is worth it. And as I say, we want our 50 plus cohort, our 5.8G cohort that is now alive, we've got to keep going till 2050. And we need to supplement our pensions and our savings with income flows, which we can use to spoil ourselves rotten, or we can save some for the future generation, or we can use our business to start something for our children. Or, as I always say, it's not always a profit. It could be for charitable purposes. You could start a structured operation, if you don't want to use the word business, to support a community effort, to help in your church, to do anything that you want to. The point is that for it to work and for it to last, you've got to be accountable, you've got to be organized, and that's not hard. Fyola, I want to thank you so very much for this chat in terms of helping our members and our viewers to be dollar savvy and claim your worth. All right. It's been perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Terri and viewers.
Okay. And we have Fyola's services and her contacts on the screen below us. Onyx Professional Services. If you have a business or you have something you know you're not organized and you need to be organized, please give Fyola a call. All right.